Welcome to my classroom. Quit messing around. Let's talk about the difference between a single needle, a 3RL, and traditional tattoo needles. So the reason why it is so hard to tattoo with a single needle, everybody who is an owner at Arizona Tattoo Academy is a single needle expert. The reason why it is so much harder to tattoo with the small needles is because let's say that this is your skin. A single needle is one single needle. So when you come close to the skin and you press it in, it's going to go all the way in. So at the very bottom of our skin, we have what's called the subcutaneous layer. Think of this like a liquid layer of fat, and the ink can actually enter into this area. So if you use a single needle and you come into this area, the ink is going to go side to side and blur. With a single needle, it's so sharp that when you come down and you touch the skin, it's going to go all the way in with very little resistance. Therefore, it makes it so easy to blow out design. So when we work with a single needle, we actually do a different kind of tattooing technique so that we don't blow out the skin. So now let's talk about 3RL. 3RL is the same thing depending on how small it is, but it's going to be 3 little dots like this. And when you come down in the skin and you do the technique that we just talked about, it gives just a little bit more resistance. So it's a little bit harder to blow out a 3RL, but it's still insanely easy because our needles are still so incredibly tiny that when we come down the skin, it has just a little bit more resistance. So this is the kind of tattooing we start all of our fine line artists out on, and some of them then move into a single needle. And then traditional tattooing. So we consider anything above a 9 to be traditional tattooing, which means it's a little bit thicker and the lines are a little bit more prominent, which a lot of times you would want for your male clients and or if you were going to do a full sleeve or something like that. So let's say you're working with a 14 needle. The reason why a lot of people in the traditional world try to do our technique and end up blowing out the skin and don't know how to execute it is because you cannot do the same thing with single needle and 3RL that you do with traditional. You will blow out the skin if you try to do a traditional technique on a single needle or fine line tattoo. So when these come into the skin, there are so many of them that as they press down, they actually have like quite a bit of resistance. So as you come to start the tattoo, you'll press down. You actually have to press a little bit to get it to the right spot so that the ink will last for the rest of time. So as you can imagine, if you try to apply the same pressure and technique that you do on your 14, on a 1, you would be blowing out the skin. There's no way to tattoo the same way with all 3 of these needles if you want something to be micro fine line and micro delicate, which is what we are known for. I hope this helps you guys, and I hope you have a good day.